Hello viewers. Today we have Professor Sachin K. Kakoty with us, the Dean IPM and founder of CRT. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So we are happy to have you here with us right now. So since when are you associated with IIT Guwahati? How is your experience with it from so many years?
If I tell you about my association with IIT Guwahati, there is a formal association and there is an informal association with IIT Guwahati. The informal association started right from the inception of the institute. That is from 1993. And the formal one is in 2000, August 2000, when I joined as a faculty member here. So if you want to know, I can tell you, in 1993, one nice day, I visited the office of the Director of Technical Education, Assam in Kailipara, where I met Professor D.N. Buragohain, who was appointed as Project Director for IIT Guwahati. At that time, when I got introduced to Professor Buragohain, he inquired about one Mr. Nobojyoti Bora, who happened to be my best friend. Mr. Bora was an architect and he did his MDes in IIT Bombay. So Professor Buragohain knew him personally. Then Professor Buragohain asked me whether it is possible to meet Mr. Bora. So immediately I rushed to Nobojyoti's residence in Rajgarh. I told him, he was very much excited. So both of us together went to Professor Buragohain's guest house where he was staying in Assam Engineering Institute, Sanmari, and met him. And then Professor Buragohain told Nobojyoti and me that he needs a residence, number one. Number two, he wants an office space where from he can operate. So within few days, we searched for one rented house in the Beltola area. That was also renovated, and he shifted to that rented house. And I personally went to Institution of Engineers India building in Panbazar. And then chairman of the institution, Mr. N.N. Goswami, and honorary secretary, Mr. M.K. Dekka. I told them about the need of an office space for Professor Buragohain for IIT Guwahati. So they readily agreed. And I conveyed this to Professor Buragohain. And after very few days, Professor Buragohain was allotted one room in the first floor in the building and started operating from there. And then he told us that he will go for a design idea competition for selecting the architect for putting a master plan for the campus. I particularly developed that document for design idea competition under his guidance and with support from Mr. Nobojyoti Bora. And based on that, the design idea competition was held, and one Mr. Goel from Delhi was selected as the best architect. And then one exhibition was also held in one building in Bhangangar, which is presently Nemcare Hospital. And this building was rented by IIT Guwahati as the first boys hostel of IIT Guwahati. So there that exhibition was held where all the entries by different architects from all over the country were displayed, and the prize was handed over by the then Governor L.N. Mishra to best architect. IIT Guwahati is a result of the Assam Accord signed in 1985, but it did not happen till 1993. So that is how we voluntarily helped Professor Buragohain so that the IIT comes to reality as soon as possible. And when it happened, I should say we are more than happy, because this has changed the academic ambience of the region. And then Mr. Nobojyoti, my best friend, he used to tell me at different points of time that he wanted to see me as one of the faculty members in IIT Guwahati. Then I went for my PhD to IIT Kharagpur and completed my degree in 1999. Sadly, he expired in 1999, just after my return from Kharagpur. And out of his desire, I applied for a faculty position in IIT Guwahati, and I got selected, and I joined IIT Guwahati as an assistant professor in 2000 August. So this has fulfilled the dream of my friend. It was not in my dream actually, it was in the dream of my friend, esteemed friend. So this is about my association with this institution.
So when you came in August 2000 to IIT Guwahati, how was your first impression about it?
As I have already told you, I am one of those few people who had seen this barren land. Now you see this well-developed campus. When it was a barren land, there was hillocks, there were marshlands, and nothing was there. Now roads are there, buildings are there, ponds are there, so many things are there. It's a good township now. So I appeared for my interview in Panbazar, Institution of Engineers building. But I joined here in this campus. Those days we used to sit in Transit Complex, which is nowadays named as Technology Complex. Those days these buildings, academic complex, administrative buildings were under construction. It was not complete. So after joining here, I thought of utilizing my ideas and concepts to convert to reality. And that is how from the day one itself, I started writing projects, started interacting with colleagues, and then started different activities, particularly research activities. And I was fortunate to get few projects within few months. So my impression, if you ask, I should say that I am lucky enough to be formally part of IIT Guwahati and to join hands with all for upliftment of the institute. And with this motto, I have been working here for so many years. And I always try to become friendly with my students and try to do research which are meaningful, helpful for the people.
So you said about the ideas you had in your mind. So when you took up the dean position, what was your vision for the campus?
Again, this dean's position was never in my dream. So one nice day, Professor Gautam Biswas, our present director, he called me and he asked me whether I'm ready to take over as a Dean Institute Works. Those days this position was named as Dean Institute Works. Then I told him, sir, this is never in my dream. Because if you would have offered me something like Dean Student Affairs or Dean R&D or something, perhaps I would have thought of, but this position is not for me. I think this position is for civil engineers. Then he told, no, it is nothing like that. Almost 70 to 80% of our student budget is spent through this deanship. And this is a managerial job basically. I have come to know about your activities and your profile and all. So I will be happy if you take over. Then I asked him for some time to think over. Then I discussed with some of my friends and well-wishers. And after that, I agreed to take the position with a suggestion to the director that the terminology Institute Works may be changed to infrastructure and planning. Then in the notification, he notified as Dean Infrastructure Planning and Management. Management word was added by him. So after taking over, this was a challenge for me really. So it took some time, maybe more than a couple of months, to study the things, the file movements, the procedure for approval of the project, the maintenance jobs, assignments of the engineers. So it took certain time. And during that time, I also enlisted some of the issues which I heard as a need for students, faculty members or staff. I changed the system little bit to make it more effective. I started visiting the construction sites along with the concerned engineers. Then I insisted for regular site meetings. I also arranged for a cap with a IIT logo, because in sunny days if you visit the sites, so you can have a cap to take the shadow from the sun. And then I made it compulsory that site visits are important and also site meetings are important. So some of the site meetings are regular site meetings and some of the site meetings and site visits are surprise site. So it has improved the system a lot. And there were some issues in maintenance. There were a lot of pending maintenance issues. So I compiled all these pending things. I engaged all the engineers to the maintenance job. And finally, this pending numbers came down. And even then, there are few problems still there. We have been working on that. Last week only, I have again remodeled the work assignments and work groups in engineering and maintenance section. In fact, this work group concept was not there earlier. Like that, I think around 16 work groups I have formulated. And there are regular meetings of engineers every first Friday of the month. There is a meeting, and also there is a presentation by one or two engineers regarding maybe their own work, or there may be presentation about a new technology. So like that, I am also trying to empower the engineers, and I want to make them friendly to the campus residents, which will help in development of the campus and sustaining the development.
So now, being in the dean position, what are the problems or what are the constraints you face?
See, first thing, being a dean, not only me, perhaps everybody, every dean, has to sacrifice a little bit about his or her academic things. Particularly, I face this because in the first year, perhaps my publication, etc., reduced, because I was more involved with the deanship than my academic duties. So later on, I coped up. That is one thing. Second thing, as I told you, the whole position of this deanship was itself was a challenge for me. It was never in my dream. So I had to fit into the shoe. It is not that shoe was for me. I had to be fit, for the shoe, like that. Okay. So that way, I am trying my best, and I am actually taking help from some experts, some consultants, some of my colleagues, some of the officers, some of the staff, and above all, I am also taking help from the students. Inputs from students help a lot. I can give you two examples. You must have noticed that there are some dark zones in the campus. Yeah. Then I was fortunate enough, a group of students came to me and asked me whether it will be helpful for us to go for a survey and providing us the information about the dark zones and other points where some improvement in the lighting is required. So it helped us a lot. I told them, yes, please give us these things. They have given this. So accordingly we planned, and now in the campus perhaps there is no dark zone. We have repaired those fuse bulbs. We have put new light posts or lighting facilities in dark zones. So second example is, perhaps we have seen some benches in the banks of the ponds.
Yeah.
These benches are made of our own wood, these are actually made of these dead trees which were cut last year.
Okay.
So I made it a point to utilize this timber. Here also students' input is there. Actually, last Gymkhana, Vice President Ayush and his team came to me and they asked me to, they requested me for putting up some benches. Then I told my idea that these benches can be put, but the locations you may perhaps help us. Then Ayush and his group provided us some graphics where the benches should be. So the first phase is now over. More benches will come. First phase is now over. And about the color of the benches, some people are not happy. So I told the second phase the colors will be different.
What are your expectations from the PhD, PG or undergraduate students in the regard to research? Like, are you satisfied with the contributions? If not, then what will you say to motivate them?
My very purpose of research is benefit of the people, benefit of the society. So I am not interested for those type of research where research is done out of academic interest. So I always try to find out a problem for my student, and I also empower my students. Empower in the sense, empowerment actually gives a student confidence. So I used to ask them to go find out some literature, find out what is going on, what research is going on, what new you can do, and that way many times students also come up with very good ideas. Many times I help them in giving some ideas. I am happy with my students who work with me or working with me, and perhaps all the students who work with me or working with me are also happy with me. Initially, there may be some, hiccups with the student to approach me. Maybe they're afraid a little bit initially, but with passage of time, they become friendly. They know that I am not a person who, rebukes them for nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, I used to rebuke, but for some improvement of the student. And that way, research I have been carrying out either in BTech level or in MTech level, and particularly in PhD level. I am trying my best that the results are helpful for the society.
So we know that like you haven't benefited only for the students of IIT Guwahati, but around the campus as well. Like we have Shishogram, you're associated with it, and also they have very active participations in the programs we keep in IIT Guwahati, like the Independence Day, and they do participate and people enjoy it. So what would you say about that?
So if you ask me about Shishogram, actually again I have to go back to Professor Buragohai's days. During that time, Mrs. Buragohai took the lead, and Mrs. Sasrabuddhe, Professor Sasrabuddhe was a deputy director here earlier, and particularly few ladies from the campus took the lead in helping out the Shishogram. But after Professor Buragohai left this campus, this initiative somehow stopped there. So after a gap of more than 10 years perhaps, again our present director, Professor Biswas, he convened a meeting with me and few of our colleagues, officers and faculty members, and he asked us whether it is possible to help out Shishogram. Then we visited Shishogram and saw that Shishogram infrastructure, buildings, roads, etc. are in very bad condition. Also, the food and the other stuff are also there's a scope for improvement. So we decided to do something. Then we talked to the management committee of Shishogram, which is a sister concern of Red Cross Society. So we had a discussion with Red Cross Society. Then finally an MOU was signed with Red Cross Society, and two committees were formed. One is jointly with Red Cross Society and IIT Guwahati, and one is within IIT Guwahati. We are contributing ourselves. And we are trying to rebuild the Shishogram orphanage for girls. And now you will see something is already done. One building is already completely renovated, and we have been also helping them for their, particularly our NSS volunteers. They are helping them for their education. And this year, one girl has come out very in flying colors in class 10 final exam. She got, I think, 76% plus. In this environment, she is getting 76% is a very
a big
thing. So we are trying our best to improve this Shishugram and also increase the intake. Presently, there are, I think, around 32 girls. We are going to increase this intake. And besides this Shishugram, actually, you know, I am also involved with Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. This is a flagship mission of Government of India. And I am the coordinator of Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, IIT Guwahati. We have selected actually 10 village clusters. Till date, we have been operating around in 6 village clusters. Regularly, we are doing some medical camps, education camps, veterinary camps, and also we are studying their problems, what are the problems and all. And from Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, we are identifying problem areas of different village clusters. Okay, where education and sanitation is a common problem area everywhere. Besides that, there are some scopes for, say, improving the infrastructure or facilities to make it tourist attraction place. So tourism development type of things can also be thought of. So these things we are working upon. I enjoy actually doing these type of things. I do not know why, but maybe because I am from a village background. So as I told, I am always connected with society. So I want my society to develop.
We all know that you're the founder of CRT, that's the Center for Rural Technology. So what is your motivation behind the CRT and what are the current projects going on CRT? Also, we would like to know, can you tell us about the RuTAG?
I have to start with RuTAG.
Okay.
RuTAG is actually a Rural Technology Action Group, conceptualized and initiated by Dr. R. Chidambaram, who is the Principal Scientific Advisor to Government of India. The first RuTAG was started in Uttarakhand. Originally, it was run by one NGO, then now it is with IIT Roorkee. Second one is IIT Tamil Nadu, IIT Madras, in Tamil Nadu. And third one is ours. We started operating from 2006 April. The mission is to identify areas where science and technology intervention can be made for rural economy development. So we used to have different types of activities like NGO meets are there to find out the problems in the ground level in the villages. So we talk to those NGOs who are operating in the village level, and we come to know about different problems, and then those problems which we feel that we are capable of handling. So for that, we try to develop a synergy by bringing about some experts, some artisans. That means we form a committee where experts are there, artisans are there, then students are there, then your NGOs are there, NGO representative, and government, non-government, all type of organizations may be there. This results in finding out a solution for two type of things. One is, in some villages you will find that some traditional knowledge is in action. Okay, this can be replaced by a technology. The second thing is, already technology is there, but this technology can be improvised. Okay, so these type of two issues we can handle by developing this type of synergy, and that is what we are doing. And I have some photographs and videos, if possible you can display. We have developed numbers of technology or products. For example, one bicycle we have produced which can carry, the male version can carry around 2 quintal and more. The female version can carry around 1.5 quintal and more. And you can drive. You can drive the vehicle with the load. Originally, it was made for carrying banana bunches. 14 banana bunches were possible to be carried by this bicycle. Later on, it is further improvised. Then another one is that it was very successful actually. We were approached by one NGO from Arunachal. As a result, we have developed one feed block machine for yaks, and which is also now used for mithuns.
Okay.
You know, during winter, during the dry season, many yaks are dying out of starvation. They do not get anything to eat. So because their yaks are actually living at very high altitude regions, and all the pavements everywhere it is icy.
Yeah.
So it is important that during that period, if they are provided with some food, some fodder. So for that, some big machines were there with ICR. But this NGO came to us asking us whether it is possible to develop one portable type of small machine. They told that our limit is 50,000 rupees within that. Then we developed two models. One is your hydraulic model and one is manual. Hydraulic model costed around 30,000. Manual model costed around 15,000. Then we demonstrated one of the Yak Mela. There is one research center. It is called NRC Yak, National Research Center on Yak. So people from Ladakh, Nepal, and many places came there. They were after us. They wanted this technology for them. Then I told, see, we are not producing commercially. You can send some technician, we can train them, you can produce this locally there. Otherwise, if we produce it here and send to your place, the cost of transportation may be more than the cost of the product. So finally, this NRC Yak, they bought, we have arranged for some fabricator who have fabricated for us, and they bought some pieces of this machine. Later on, NRC Mithun in Dimapur, they also got interested, they also procured few machines, and now some veterinary doctors are after us. They ask us to reduce the size of the fodder so that it can be useful for cattle. Okay, this is one story. Then there are like that, there are other things like we have one eddy cocoon opener, we have one potter's wheel which is also very successful. We have also one production unit of plain muga fabric in Amingao, where 4 power looms we have modified. This is a patented technology of one Mr. Dulal Chaudhary. He dedicated it for people of Assam, and Governor of Assam assigned this task to us to implement this. And in association with Dulal Chaudhary, we implemented that. Netfee helped us with finance. Still it is running, and there we developed another 3 machines. One is called hand to bobine machine, one is span winding machine, one is your sectional warping machine. And few youths from Swalkusi, they have adopted this technology and they are producing this technology commercially now. They are doing very good business out of this. And lately, we are very happy. The Ministry of Donor approached us, and they are interested to implement about 10 technology developed by us in the Northeast in 40 to 160 clusters. So this MOU or MOA type of signing has to be done. So this draft we are exchanging, and this process is on, and within this financial year perhaps it will be done. So we are also now asking for some EOI from different fabricators because it will be a huge task. So if it is done, I think it will be a very good thing, great success, not only for me or RuTAG, also for IIT Guwahati, because IIT Guwahati, many people ask what IIT Guwahati has given to the region. Okay, I think this will give some visual example of what IIT Guwahati can give to the society. So with these activities, when I was associated, I felt that certain activities cannot be done under RuTAG, because RuTAG has a limited area where you can operate. Objectives are, limited. So then I talked to some of my faculty members, colleagues from different, departments, and we discussed and ultimately decided to put up a proposal for a center for rail technology. So it took time, but ultimately it was approved, and we have started our Center for Rail Technology from last July 2015. Academic programs like MTech in Rail Technology and PhD also started. The second batch of MTech was admitted this year. And there are, besides RuTAG, new projects also are there. these are on livelihood, these are on food technology. Like that we have, now it will be increasing with time, and I think it won't take much more than another 3 to 4 years to get some tangible result out of this CRT.
Yeah.
And I am happy about my team, I mean CRT, the faculty members associated with the center, as well as the students, as well my project staff. All are cooperative, all are very encouraging. They do not mind working 24 hours, they do not mind traveling to places like Tuting, which is a very high altitude area near to China border in Arunachal. Okay, these type of things, I am very happy about this actually.
You spoke about technology, you're getting into place right now that wasn't there before, and people are also using it. So right now, like, what are the areas of research that you are currently working on?
Okay, initially when I joined, I had interest in tribology. Tribology means actually lubrication, wear and friction. So my PhD was in, I mean, lubrication, particularly hydrodynamic lubrication, that is under tribology. So I developed one tribology lab immediately after joining here. And besides tribology, I also had interest in aeroacoustics. So I wanted to resume my activities in that area. So I started doing that. I published 2 journal papers also with one of my students, Binoy Roy. And also I had an interest in mechanical system design. But then slowly I found that in IIT system, putting effort in all different areas together is perhaps difficult. And it results in jack of all trade and master of none.
Yeah.
So I finally decided to concentrate particularly on hydrodynamic lubrication. And as I told you already, by this time my passion was rural technology. So presently I am pursuing hydrodynamic lubrication and rural technology. So other areas I have not been active.
Yeah.
Interest is there, but still I am not active. Sometimes some students working with some other professors, when they ask for some help, I definitely help, but I am not putting my time there. One of my students in rural technology, he has been trying to utilize anthropometric data for modification in designs of the products. Okay, for Northeast. So this is something new.
Yeah.
Okay. So like that, another student is working on the quality and processing of brass products and I mean product diversification in this area. So these are real life problems actually. So I enjoy doing this. If I get some result after few years, society will be benefited. That is why I am happy about it.
I guess now there will be more tribology researchers coming up to you.
Yeah, tribology research is there. I have some projects also. And presently I am also teaming up with one of my colleagues who was my earlier student, Karuna Kolita. We are also working on magnetic bearings. We are also working on control of that rotor bearing systems. So some experimental setup are also I mean already in place. We have some DST funded projects. So these all areas I have been very much involved when working. As I told, it will definitely benefit the society as a whole.
So, coming to an end, what message would you like to give to IIT Guwahati, specifically like students across the country?
Be connected to the society, be connected to the ground, and always think high, try to do something which ultimately benefits the society. Actually, one of my teachers advised me that only academics is good for nothing. So this is my motto.
Yeah.
So I am always busy with many non-academic things, even though I am very sincere in academics. So my message to my students, whether it is from IIT Guwahati or elsewhere, you be always active and also try to induce your companions for doing something good for the society. And always, I mean, that was my parent used to tell me, my father used to tell me that simple living and high thinking, that should be the motto. And I think that will definitely help the society to grow.
So, what are your other activities you're associated with? I mean, there are many right
some
now.
of the things I told already. I am connected to my school. I am connected to my village. I think I missed out one thing. All my children actually studied in a school called Assam Jatiya Vidyalaya. This school also I was a founder. Me and my wife, both we were founder. We 10 persons grouped together to start a good school and started this school. And all my 3 children studied there. So this is sort of an achievement, I feel, because I have also contributed to development of a good standard school. If you ask local people here, everybody will say Assam Jatiya Vidyalaya is perhaps #1 now in Assam.
It was good talking to you, sir. It's really fortunate for me to sit here and talk to you. This is such a great personality. So, yeah, friends, it was Dr. Sachin K. Kakoty with us. Thank you, sir.
I also thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Actually, many things I have never shared with anybody. And today, I have been sharing with you. It will go to public. So, if I have said something which has hurt somebody, I apologize for that. That is nothing intentional. I have never tried to hurt anybody. So again, thank you CBS. Thank you your team. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.